In this video, we're going to take a look at some exam paper questions relating to arithmetic sequences. So in this, we're going to need to recall how arithmetic sequences function, what are the properties of them, and how do we use the formula. So for this one, it says T of n is an arithmetic sequence, meaning it increases or decreases by the same amount each time. It's given by the formula T of n is equal to 4n plus 1, where n is a natural number. Write down the first three terms of the sequence. Well, given that n is a natural number, the first value for n that we could use is T of n being T of 1. So we could say n is 1. I then fill it into the formula, very similar to functions. We'll get 4 by 1, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5. Now we do for n is 2, because it's a natural number, it's going to have to be the next positive whole number. So we do T of 2, which is going to be 4 by 2 plus 1, which is going to give me 9. And then I'm going to have T of 3, because I'm going to do n is 3 for the third one. And I'm going to get 4 by 3 plus 1, which is going to give me 12 plus 1, which is 13. So the first three terms in the sequence then are 5, 9, and 13. It then says term k of the sequence is 100. Find the value of k. So what I know right now is that the formula for the general term is given by this. Now they're saying if the term isn't just term n, it's term k. So I'm going to say n is equal to k. What I happen to know then is that what that formula produces when I put in k, the overall value is going to give me 101. When I put in k, I get out 101. So let's sub that into the formula then. So we're going to have, instead of T of n, we now know it's going to be T of k, but that's going to be 101. Because that's what it's going to be equal to. Instead of the letter n, we're going to fill in k. So it'll be 4k plus 1. Take away 1 from both sides, and I'm going to get 100 is equal to 4k. Get k on its own, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So I get k is equal to 25. The next one says to us then, the following identity is true for all natural numbers where n is a natural number. Use the expression to find the sum of the natural numbers from 1 to 12 inclusive. So if you are in junior cycle, you can skip this part, but if you're leaving cert ordinary level or above, you need to know how to do this one as well. So it says the following identity is true. So when you add them all up, you get this. Use this expression to find the sum of the first 12 numbers. So basically, if n is 12, it should be equal to this. So all we need to do is we're saying n is equal to 12. There's the formula, fill in 12. That's all you had to do there. They've given us the formula, how to add them up. There's the trick, and we're going to have 12 multiplied by 12 plus 1. So I'm just going to do that in my calculator. It's going to be 12 multiplied by 13 all over 2. So 12 by 13 gives me 156. Divide that by 2 and I'm going to get 78. So the sum of the first 12 natural numbers is 78. Here then it twists it on its head again, and it says the sequence of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up to n add up to 325. Solve this equation. Okay, imagine none of that was there. It's just a standard question. It's really just a standard algebra question. How do I get rid of the divide by 2? That's the first problem I encounter. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of that. So I'm going to have 325 multiplied by 2. And I get n into n plus 1 is equal to 650. If it's brackets, it means multiply. So let me multiply out. N squared plus n is equal to 650. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take away 650 from both sides, and I'm going to get my quadratic equal to 0. That's why I took away 650 from both sides, is I wanted to get my quadratic equal to 0, because I can only solve a quadratic when it is equal to 0. Now what I need to do is decide on what method am I going to use. So I'm trying to think, what values could I use? The fastest thing, I think, when the numbers are this big, I actually genuinely think the fastest thing to do here would just be to go the minus b route. So I'm going to go A is 1, B is 1, and C is minus 650. I'm then going to fill that into the formula, which is minus B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So all over 2A. Filling in now, I'm going to get x is equal to minus 1 plus or minus the square root of, that's going to be 1 squared minus 4 by 1 by minus 650. Be careful there, a lot of students will go wrong at this stage. And then we'll have 2 by 1. If I continue to tidy that out, then I'm going to get x is equal to minus 1 plus or minus the square root of, so let me tidy this up, 4 by 650 is going to give me 2,600, so I'm going to have 2,601 there, so 2,601, all of that all over 2. I want to get the square root of 2,601, which works out to be quite a nice number, so it works out to be 51. So we get minus 1 plus or minus 51 all over 2. You now split it into your two parts, your plus version and your minus version. When it's a plus, we'll get minus 1 plus 51 all over 2. So I'm going to get 50 all over 2, which is 25. If I do this version then, I'm going to have minus 1 minus 51 all over 2, which is minus 52 all over 2, which leaves me with minus 26. So there we have it. Now, there's only one value that it could have been. Also, apologies, I switched out the letters. This should really say N the whole way. Doesn't really matter if I correct it by saying that. So I say there N is equal to 25 or N is equal to minus 26. But here's the catch. You can't have a negative when it comes to patterns. We can't go backwards. So your answer is N is equal to 25. So always make sure that you reject the answer that's not possible and accept the one that is a positive number. Because remember, all along, N had to be a natural number. Remember that, it can't be a negative number. The next question then is from 2022 paper 1 section A, question 6. It says the nth term of an arithmetic sequence is given by the following expression. Find the value of t1, the first term of the sequence. Well, that's the same thing as everything we've done so far. I'm going to take out n every time I see it and I'm going to fill in 1. So I'm going to have minus 254 plus 1 minus 1 by 4. That works out to be 0, so I'm going to get minus 254. So term 1 is minus 254. Now it says find the common difference, that is t2 take away t1. So if I know what t1 is, let me just get t2. So I'm going to get minus 254 plus 2 minus 1 multiplied by 4. That's going to be minus 254 plus 2 take away 1 is 1, 1 multiplied by 4. So I'm going to get minus 254 plus 4, which gives me minus 250. Now what do I do with that term? Well, I do term 2, which is this. So t2 take away t1. Term 2 is minus 250. Term 1 is going to be minus 254. If I get the difference between them, now I have to be really careful because term 1 was actually a negative itself. So I really should take extra care there when I was filling that in, and I fill it in brackets. So I'm saying subtract because that's in the formula, but then I also have a negative here because it was a negative first term. So that gives me minus 250. A double negative is a positive, so I've got minus 250 plus 254, so I get that the common difference was 4. You might also have been able to find out that just by looking at the formula. Look at the structure of it. It's a plus n minus 1 by d. So you didn't need to do all that out to figure either of these two things if you recognize the structure. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. It looks harder than it is, but it's just bringing in our skills from inequalities. So how would I do this out? Well, the first thing I would do is that bracket. Let's multiply that out. So I'm going to have minus 254 Then I'm going to have 4 by n is 4n, 4 by minus 1 is minus 4, is greater than 0. Now what I'm going to do is tidy up as much as I can. So I have 4n minus 258, because I have minus 254 minus 4, and that's greater than 0. Now I'm going to add 258 to both sides, and I'm going to get 4n is greater than 258. How do I get n on its own? Well, n on its own is going to give me 258 divided by 4, which is 64.5. Now, remember, n is a natural number. So what's the first natural number? That's the next smallest one after 64.5 that we could have where n is greater than that, and that's 65. Okay, there are lots of values that are bigger than 64.5, but they wanted the next nearest one to that, the smallest value that it could be, such that it's greater than 64.5. The next part, again, is for Leaving Cert ordinary level and above. So this one is the sum of the first n terms of the sequence is given by that formula. Solve the following equation. So while it's Leaving Cert ordinary level, the skills from it are going to be coming from algebra as far back as second year. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, I don't like the look of that fraction, so I'm going to say multiply through by 2. That gets rid of that fraction on this side. Because all of that was being divided by 2, when I multiply by 2, it automatically goes. And multiply 0 by 2, and I still get 0. So I'm going to have n into 2 minus 254 plus 4n minus 4. Now I'm going to tidy up inside the bracket as much as I can. So 2 multiplied by minus 254, what am I getting there? I'm getting minus 508 plus 4n minus 4, and it's all equal to 0. Tidying up inside the brackets again, I'm going to have minus 508, take away another 4, gives me minus 512, and I just have my 4n there as well. Nothing happened with that. Now, what do I do when I have brackets? I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to get 4n squared minus 512n, and that's going to be equal to 0. Now, you can use the minus b formula if you want here, where a is going to be 4, b is going to be minus 512, c, there is no constant, so it's going to be 0. Another way you could do it though is simply by taking out the highest common factor. So the highest common factor is 4n. I'm then going to be left with n minus 512n divided by 4n is minus 128. What happens now? Well, I've got two things multiplying together to give me 0. That means that one or both of the things multiplying must give me 0. In this case, I get n is equal to 0, which it can't be because n is a natural number. In this case, add 128 to both sides, and I'm going to get n is equal to 128. So there we have it. The next question then is 2021. And it's question 6 from paper 1. It says the first 3 terms of an arithmetic sequence are minus, 5, k, and 1. Find k and hence or otherwise show that the common difference is 3. Well, what do we know? I know that the minus 5 to k is going to be minus 5 plus some difference gives me k. So let me actually spell that out. Minus 5 plus the common difference is equal to k. What I also know is that k plus the exact same difference, because it's arithmetic, is going to be 1. Now, what can I do with this? Well, I can make, it's actually a little simultaneous equation, and I'm going to do it by substitution. Instead of saying k over here, let me replace it with this. I know what k is equal to actually, and I know it's in terms of d. So let me just make that swap. So I'm now going to say over here, I'm going to say minus 5 plus d is equal to 1. tidying up this side, minus 5 plus 2d is equal to 1. Add 5 to both sides, you get 2d is equal to 3. 2d is equal to 6, I'm skipping a step. 2d is equal to 3 because I add 5 to both sides, 6, it's equal to 6. And then divide both sides by 2 and I'm going to get d is equal to 3. So I've done that part. Now I know what k is, because k is going to be minus 5 plus 3, because it's the common difference being added on, and I'm going to get minus 2. So there we have it. Now it says find the 10th term in the sequence. Well, this is where I can borrow that formula. T of n is equal to a plus n minus 1 by d. N is actually known to us in this case as 10. A is going to be the first term. What's the first term in our sequence? It's minus 5. And D is going to be the common difference, which whether you found it this way or not, you got 3 out of it. So now I'm going to fill everything in. I'm going to do T of n is equal to A, which is minus 5 plus n minus 1. Sorry, we're not doing T of n, we're doing T of 10. So I can actually fill in all the 10s for n's here. Minus 5 plus 10 minus 1 multiplied by d, the common difference, which is 3. Then I'm going to tidy up the brackets first just to make the multiplication easier. So 10 minus 1 is 9. So I'm going to have 9 multiplied by 3. So then I'm going to have minus 5 plus 27. If I tidy that out, I get 22. So it's just a matter of what's the formula for the whatever term. That's our information in the question. A is the first term, D is the common difference, and T is 10. And you didn't even need to solve this one to get that, because you had the common difference told to you in the question, and you also already knew what A was. The next one then says, find which term in the sequence has a value of 247. So they basically want us to find which term is equal to 247. So they want to know what n is. Okay, what is that n? Or is it 11? Is it 201? What is it? So we're going to go back to our formula. A plus n minus 1 by d. In this case, I know actually what Tn results in. Tn results in 247. A is still the first term, which is minus 5. D is the common difference, which is 3. And n is what we're looking for. We're looking for the term number. Which term? That's what n represents. We're then going to go and fill in everything we know. So I know it's equal to 247. And it's going to be A, which is minus 5, plus n minus 1, which is going to be n minus 1, multiplied by D, which is 3. You can solve this whatever way you like. I'm going to start by tackling the bracket first. So I'm going to have 3 by n, which is 3n. 3 by minus 1 is minus 3, and I get 247. I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and I get 3n minus 3. I'm going to add 5 to both sides, which gives me 252. I'm going to add 3 to both sides now, so I get 3n is equal to 255, I believe. So I did 247 plus 5 plus another 3, and now I'm going to divide that by 3, and when I divide both sides by 3, I get n is equal to 85. So there we go. So you can see that within those 3 questions, which spanned 3 different examination years, the same style of question gets asked. There's only so many ways they can ask this, and it's about understanding the difference between what they mean by T of n and what they mean by n, and really understanding what does it mean if it is an arithmetic sequence. If you've got that down, then you can do pretty much any sequence question that comes up with linear equations.